The crystalline spires of Valoria Prime had once touched the violet skies with pride, but now they lay shattered like broken dreams across the obsidian plains. Princess Liara of House Meridian pressed her back against the cold stone of a collapsed monument, her luminescent silver skin dimmed by exhaustion and despair. The royal circlet that once adorned her elegant crest now sat crooked, a mockery of the authority she no longer possessed. Her people had abandoned her. When the Krathok Dominion's war fleets descended upon Valoria, the High Council had made their choice with cold calculation. They offered Liara as a sacrifice, a royal hostage to buy time for their own escape. Her own uncle, Regent Thoril, had personally delivered her to the Krathok landing zone, his four eyes unable to meet her gaze as he spoke of necessary sacrifices and the greater good. Now she huddled in the ruins, her elegant robes torn and stained, waiting for the Krathok hunters to find her. She could hear them in the distance, their guttural war cries echoing through the devastated city. The Krathok were known throughout the galaxy for their brutality, for making examples of conquered royalty. Liara's death would not be quick. She closed her three-fingered hands around a sharp piece of rubble. If this was her end, she would not go meekly. The sound of boots on stone made her heart surge with terror. But these footsteps were different, lighter, more deliberate. A figure emerged from the smoke and ash, and Liara's breath caught. It was a human. She had heard of them, of course. The galaxy spoke of humanity in hushed, uncomfortable tones. They were newcomers to the galactic stage, a species that had clawed their way from a single planet to the stars in a mere handful of centuries. Other races called them reckless, stubborn, emotional to the point of irrationality. The Galactic Council had denied them full membership 3 times, citing their unpredictable nature and dangerous loyalty instincts. Some species called them the dogs of the galaxy, a term meant as an insult, referring to their pack mentality and their bizarre tendency to fight for others even when it defied logic. This human wore the armor of a mercenary, battered and scorched from combat. His face was hard, weathered by what Liara assumed was a difficult life. Dark eyes scanned the area with predatory focus before settling on her. Captain Rin had been on Valoria Prime by pure chance. His small crew had been delivering medical supplies when the Krathok arrived. Any sane being would have fled immediately. Rin had sent his crew away and stayed. Princess Liara? His voice was rough but not unkind. He spoke in galactic common with a thick human accent. She nodded mutely, still gripping her makeshift weapon. "I'm getting you out of here." It wasn't a question or an offer. It was a statement of fact. Why? The word escaped her lips before she could stop it.
"Why would you risk yourself for me?"
"My own people wouldn't." Rin's expression hardened. "Yeah, I heard what they did, cowards." He moved closer, keeping low. "Where I come from, we don't leave people behind. Especially not people who've been betrayed." Before Liara could respond, a Krathok war cry split the air. 3 of them emerged from the rubble, massive reptilian warriors with weapons raised. They saw Rin and laughed, their forked tongues tasting the air. "A human," the lead Krathok roared. "You think you can stand against the Dominion for one worthless princess?" Rin stepped in front of Liara, his plasma rifle coming up in a smooth motion. "Actually, yeah, I do." What happened next would burn itself into Liara's memory forever. Humans, she had heard, fought differently than other species. They didn't have the natural armor of Krathok, the psionic abilities of Valerians, or the technological superiority of the elder races. What they had was something far more terrifying: adaptability, tenacity, and an absolute refusal to quit. Rin moved like violence incarnate. He took a plasma bolt to the shoulder that would have dropped most beings, grunted, and kept firing. When his rifle overheated, he drew a blade, actual steel, an antiquated human weapon, and closed the distance. The Krathok were larger, stronger, but Rin fought with a ferocity that seemed to defy survival instinct. He used the environment, collapsing rubble onto one Krathok. He used their overconfidence against them, dodging where they expected him to block. And when the largest one had him pinned, Rin did something completely insane. He activated a plasma grenade on his own belt. "Run!" he shouted to Liara, but she didn't run. Something in her refused. Instead, she grabbed a fallen Krathok weapon and fired at the warrior's exposed flank. Her shot was true. Rin rolled free just as his grenade detonated, and the resulting explosion sent all of them sprawling. When the smoke cleared, the Krathok lay still. Rin was bleeding from multiple wounds, his armor cracked and sparking. But he was alive. He looked at Liara with something like approval. Not bad, princess. Over the next 3 days, Rin guided Liara through the ruins of her own capital, evading Krathok patrols and scavenging supplies. He taught her how to move quietly, how to fight when necessary, how to survive. And as they traveled, Liara began to understand why the galaxy feared humans. It wasn't their weapons or their ships. It was their spirit. "Why do you do this?" she asked on the second night as he treated his wounds with disturbing nonchalance. "Fight for others, I mean. Your people aren't even part of the Galactic Council." Rin was quiet for a moment. "Maybe that's exactly why. We know what it's like to be alone, to be dismissed. We decided a long time ago that we'd rather be the kind of species that helps than the kind that turns away." He met her eyes. "Your people called us dogs. They meant it as an insult. But you know what? Dogs are loyal. Dogs protect their pack. Dogs don't abandon their own." Tears, actual crystalline tears, formed in Liara's eyes. "I'm not your pack. You are now." On the third day, they reached the extraction point. Rin's crew had returned with a borrowed gunship and enough firepower to punch through the Krathok blockade. As they lifted off from Valoria Prime, Liara watched her world shrink below her. She had lost her crown, her throne, her people's loyalty. But she had gained something far more valuable. She had learned what true honor looked like. Months later, when Princess Liara addressed the Galactic Council with evidence of her people's cowardice and the Krathok's war crimes, she did not stand alone. Captain Rin stood beside her, battered but unbowed, and when she proposed that humanity be granted full council membership, she did so with a voice that would not be denied. "They call humans dogs," she declared to the assembled delegates, and perhaps they are right. For dogs are loyal when others betray. Dogs stand and fight when others flee. Dogs protect the forsaken, her eyes blazed. And if these are the qualities of dogs, then I say the galaxy needs more of them. The motion passed, and Captain Rin, the human dog who had saved a forsaken princess, simply smiled.